Hello Internet, and welcome to what I think is the 10th video update from the Physio Moves Canada project. After 7 weeks on the road, 12,000 kilometers driven, 21 clinical sites visited, over 30 clients and 80 clinicians connected and engaged and participating in the project, we are now back in London, Ontario. I'm here in the beautiful Casa de Walton. I now am done the formal road trip component of the project. We are not yet done the complete project though. We are now back here in Southern Ontario where we've got at least 5 or 6 more clinical sites to visit, including at least 2 more clinician focus groups and several more clients to engage. So we're still going on. We hope to be done by the end of September. However, I did want to share a few reflections from the formal road trip part of this project. It's been very ambitious. It's been actually surprisingly fast trip, and I guess it's a good project when you come out on the other end sort of a changed person, and I would say that's who I am. Now, first of all, I just want to address when people can expect to see some of the results and the outcomes of this project. I do have countless hours of data to pore over, and that's going to take me well into 2018 to get this done. However, you will probably see the outcomes of this first through one of the conference presentations that I've got booked coming up. So CPA Leadership Forum coming up in November, I'll be doing a talk there. PT Alberta's annual conference, I'll also be doing a talk there. But really, the first time you're likely going to see the full results of the project are going to probably be next year at CPA Congress in Montreal. We're also going to continue to push out some information through our different avenues, including through our YouTube channel, through our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram accounts, and also on the physiomovescanada.com website. So be sure to check back there and keep an eye. Subscribe to the channel, follow us on one of those social platforms, and you'll hear about information as it comes up. Now, just to a few broad reflections from this project so far. As I say, it's been an incredible adventure. And one of the nice things about this project, in particular my opportunity to go and spend time in the home environment of clinicians and even in the home environment of some clients, is that it's challenged some of my own biases. And I can promise now that as a researcher, any research questions I approach going forward are going to be done through a new lens, through a new expanded worldview that certainly for me is going to affect, I think, the rigor, the quality, and the external validity and generalizability of the research that I do. That's the value I want to share with you and all the stakeholders. But let's be clear that it's not all going to be rosy. I've learned quite a bit. There are some true legitimate threats facing the profession, some of which probably will require us to ask some difficult questions and to really look hard in the mirror as a group and decide who we want to be. I don't think they're insurmountable, and all I can say is that as soon as we become comfortable with the status quo is the time that we start to potentially see our sphere of influence in that pantheon of healthcare start to erode. However, for every threat, there are also opportunities. And these are things that we need to be prepared for. And so this is why I really asked clinicians to look into the future and to say, what opportunities are likely to emerge 5 or 10 years from now that we need to be ready as a profession to leverage and to harness so that we can continue to thrive going forward. And they don't always have to be simply things where we just wait for change to occur and then decide how we fit in. There's no reason we can't lead some of this change, and that's where things could get really fun. I realize I'm being somewhat vague on these things, and I have to be right now because, as I say, the project's not over, and I don't want to risk biasing the future participants who may be watching this video in providing their data going forward. I've also heard a lot about training programs in physio, and I specifically asked the question about whether we are educating our future physios, the next generation of physios, in a way that is congruent with the realities of clinical practice, either today or into the near future. And, well, some of the answers, of course, are yes. In many ways, we're doing a good job. There were also many ways that I've heard that we could probably be doing a better job. Now, I don't want to over-politicize this message, but it is worth saying that one of the more consistent themes I've heard about changes in our training programs relate to the concepts around cultural literacy, sensitivity, creating culturally safe spaces. And it just strikes me that even recent international events have driven home the importance of making sure that cultural awareness, literacy, competency, whatever term you want to use, is integrated into our education programs. This seems to be becoming more and more critical, and in particular here in Canada, where we are proudly multicultural, also of course means that we as a profession need to be able to relate to people on deeper levels than just anatomy and biomechanics. So that's something I hope to drive forward. I'm looking forward to engaging with some of the leaders in this field, not just in physio, but just more broadly in training for cultural competence, and coming up with ways that we can integrate this more into our education programs. So, all for now. Again, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at the website. Connect with me by email at dwalton5@uwo.ca if you have any of your own thoughts you'd like to share on this project. As I say, if you're in Southern Ontario, watch for opportunities to get involved in the focus sessions that are coming up. Would love to hear from you. Can't wait to share the information I've heard. All for now.